For the 23-24 season, the 1878 FM podcast is sponsored by Green King Sport, where football is more than a game. It's a massive fortnight of sport where the Premier League, rugby and cricket all taking centre stage. To celebrate, Green King is giving listeners of this podcast 20% off drinks until the 29th of October, an hour before, during and after the sport. All you need to do is download the Green King Sport app. If you've not downloaded the app before, you even get a free pint. So head over to the App Store, download the Green King Sport app and get your 20% off your round. Don't miss a minute of the action. Hello, welcome to the 1878 FM podcast, episode 10. Myself, Dave, and Ped is back from his travels in France.
You make it sound like I've been like round the world.
I'll be honest, I felt like this was an audition for your travel blog that you are undoubtedly at some stage gonna start.
Of course.
When the football gets all too much for you.
I don't think the football will ever get too much.
Well, you say that.
I'll get too much for the football.
Well, maybe. However, guys, that takes.
That's the way you got to look at it.
Well, fair enough.
No.
Fair enough.
That's yeah.
We'll get on to your travel.
In a world when
my
Paul
travels.
Machin from Red Men TV is in the Colleen Rooney Agatha Christie documentary, anything is possible.
Sure. How?
He's in the documentary.
Oh, really?
How
Because
and why?
they did like a segment in the show where it's like, no, Dave will know this because he's been in these kind of shows.
Yeah.
We know when they're talking about a topic and then they'll you have Dave, come on, you're a man of the people. You've been in many.
Okay, yeah.
And then they'll go to many clips of like the news. So, like,
people talking
loose
about
women,
it. Oh,
this morning, Paul Machin.
Right.
Maids, see
I know
that
what
one
you're saying.
From Maids
From
TV,
himself.
Paul
Wow.
Machin reacting to the Agatha Christie story
Wow.
is on the Disney Plus documentary.
Incredible.
He's essentially made it now, hasn't he?
That's it.
He's essentially made it in life.
Mm.
The next thing for him would be a Dave Vitti style hole in the wall.
Okay,
and
yeah.
diamond
And,
scissoring.
yeah. Well, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know whether Paul can pull Anne Diamond off like that. Like Dave.
I mean, the world's his lobster now, isn't it? Now that he's on that stage.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, once you're in a Wagatha documentary, you are.
The
know,
eyes of the world are on you.
That's it. He's got to be careful.
That's
now.
what he does with it next.
That's it. It's up. He's got, with power comes great responsibility.
Exactly,
So there you go. We'll see. Listen, let's just very briefly, because there was Everton didn't lose at the weekend, which is always a
Big
positive.
plus.
But there is the matter of the Merseyside Derby this weekend coming up. Not a fixture I look for with any hope or any excitement, I'll admit. I marginally like the Goodison one better, but I don't like either, if I'm honest. But Dave, what are your feelings around derbies and in particular this one on Saturday?
I get quite excited about them, to be honest with you. They are a fixture that I look forward to or look for in when the fixtures come out. But obviously our record there isn't great. I wish it was at our place, but it's not. So to be honest with you, I mean, I think as long as they give a good account of themselves, then I'll be happy. I'm not expecting anything there, to be honest with you. And I don't think many of us are, but as long as we give a good account of ourselves and we roll our sleeves up and we fight and we compete in front of, a worldwide audience, then I'll be happy with that, and hopefully if they do give a good performance, whatever the outcome will be, then it will set them up for, what is a fairly tricky run of fixtures coming up. I mean, certainly tougher than what we've had going into the international break.
Yeah.
And these are fixtures that they need to get something from, if they're to kickstart their season. So yeah, I mean, listen, I've enjoyed the break. It feels like ages actually to me since we played. It feels like a long, long time.
Yeah.
Since that game on the 7th of October. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back into it, see what happens on Saturday, and then whatever will be, then we kick on and we've got West Ham away next.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, Ped, it isn't one, I don't think anyway, that most Evertonians will be looking at going, we'll win this or whatever, but it is important how we play, isn't it, as in terms of staying in the game, because I know you weren't too happy with how we played at Anfield last season.
Yeah,
we've been better away anyway.
We bottled it at Anfield last season. But I'll be honest, it's not a game I get overly dramatic about because of the record.
Yeah.
So it's not. I don't think I certainly don't live in a world where I get all kind of bombarded with text messages and stuff. Because I simply just don't have red mates. I've solved the equation for all of you. Just don't have red.
Easy.
Just don't have red mates. I have a couple obviously, but it's not something we bother with as such. So, and I think the record is so poor that the expectation there, and I think something that we just certainly haven't played up on. And I'd love to know whether someone could ask Dyche about this, or whether Dyche could maybe use this, or he's this kind of manager. But put the emphasis on Liverpool. Like, Everton never win these games, so isn't all of it on you to beat them? And he's been interesting because he doesn't tend to throw his best team at us, because he knows that he's got such a good record against his Klopp. So he doesn't always put his best team in. And certainly this weekend, I'm not sure whether he'll put his best team, because I don't know whether he's got his best team.
He's got a few also.
Injuries and coming back from South America, that kind of thing. So I'd like to see someone like Sean Dyche flip it back and say, well, all the pressure's on them. We never win there. So what have we got to be afraid of? The only time we've won there was when there was no fans there. I'd love to see someone do that. But at the moment, I'm fine. I'll get a little bit nervous Friday, I imagine. But then as soon as that game kicks off, I am absolutely fine. I'm
always like, when it's like 2 minutes in, I always think, well, 88 minutes, it's all over. It's kind of here. I think the worst, it's the beforehand. It's even like Goodison. It's why I always want the Goodison game at like 12:30, because you get up and then you're there and it's happening. Yeah. I hate it when it's like 8 o'clock on a Monday night and you've got all of that build. I hate it. I'd play it as... It's funny I don't know whether you've listened to the BBC Sounds thing, Dave, the Everton Nottingham will be the same. It's really good if you get it.
We're doing one right now.
Exactly. If you get the opportunity to listen to it, it's really good. But Kevin Thelwell's talking about the Bournemouth game, and he was like, I wanted to play that like 7:45 in the morning, because it's like 4 in the afternoon, you've got to wait. So that'll be one. That's one advantage. I think Saturday it is 12:30. So I'll be at... Zach's got a game early morning, so I'll be literally getting back in, and then it'll be probably half an hour to kick off, and that's the best way. But our record is terrible there. All the pressure is on Liverpool. They're trying to hold it in right now as we speak. They're in a title race, because there's about 6 of them in it at the moment. So they have to win. But like I just said to you before, and this is something, Dave, that I think, as bad as Sean Dyche's home form has been, or as bad as Everton's home form has been, because it isn't just Dyche, it was happening with Lampard as well. Certainly since Sean Dyche took over, Everton's away forms actually, we've been all right away. We've had a couple of pumpings, Arsenal, which was a bit self-inflicted as well. And then Aston Villa, which again, you can say exactly the same. He gifted them 3 of the goals. Other than that, we've been very competitive in the away games. Got some all right results, and other times we've lost, it's been tight, but maybe that's something to build on this Saturday.
I think so, and I think it relates back to Ped's point before in terms of taking the pressure off and almost expecting nothing from it. I think there's an element of that in those games that you're talking about. I mean, because I think that the run was so bad and the confidence was so low that they almost went into those away games thinking, well, do you know what? We haven't got 40,000 at Goodison, sort of breathing down our necks, and we go off and we do what we do. And I think that I don't think it's a coincidence, the fact that those better performances and better results have come away from home. So Ped, like you say, I hope that there is an element of that going into the derby. Yeah. So much as, come on, and it's up to Liverpool to actually shine, because we're not expected to get anything at their place.
I think it's been like that the last couple of years. Lampard's trip to Anfield, where obviously we got beat, I think 2-0, but we played really well. It was a good game, and actually we had obviously something to moan about, because Anthony Gordon should have got a penalty. And I think it's like moments like that. I think that's what upset me last year, was the fact that we went there and we were really passive in the game.
We did at the post though, like 20 seconds before they scored.
Well, that's still.
I didn't see it.
That's not enough for me.
No.
We were really passive in the game. We instead of putting it on their toes, a team who were, again, because you listen to people in this building, the Reds, and you can feel the worry from them, not necessarily from this game. It's the worry to get back to where they see themselves being. And games like this are you know, they can be a hiccup for them. And with that, having players out, and as I said before, I was listening yesterday. I was outside and was sitting on the couch, and you were in here doing an interview, and I was listening to them doing a news reporting, and there were some of all the players coming back from South America, and oh, whoa, me, you know, oh, we've got players coming back, and the last time this happened, he played McAllister against Wolves, and he took him off, and all these little things. I was thinking, if we could just get at these, and as I said, flip the script, then and at least leave the place where people can go, we had to go there today. Because at the end of the day, that's all anyone asks for, isn't it? Yeah. You know, those defeats that you've talked about, the away defeats so far, bar the Villa game, you know, you think about Arsenal away, we tactically were all right that night, and then one mistake cost us, and then we end up getting beat. Manchester United away, where, again, he put Ellis Sims up front.
He should have scored.
Where he should have done better, but it was a bit like... It was a bit like halfy in terms of didn't know what to do. And yeah, you're right. You know, going to Chelsea, we get to 2-2. We got a 2-2. We went to Brighton and got the 5-1 win. Brentford more recently, and Villa in the Cup. He has got a system that works away from home. And all you want to do is see that system work. And if Liverpool win, because they're the better team, because they've got better players,
they win,
then they win. But all you want to see is at least people go, we had to go today, and that'll be good for the next game. And I think we've always said this since Dyche came in. It was under Lampard and under certainly Benitez. It was those games where it was like 1 week we'd get this, and then the next week we'd get that. I think we've said all the time under Dyche is give us consistent performances. And if we get beat, we get beat because we mightn't have as good players. And I think that's, to be fair to Dyche, I think that's what he's trying to find. And I think that's what his message has been all the time. Look at the performances, whether we win, whether we lose, they're genuinely quite the same. So let's have that again on Saturday.
Yeah, no.
And also, as you say, but it's a performance basis, isn't it? You know, as I say, the result is not as important. It's about actually now having come back from a break. It's a bit like a restart. It's actually setting a level of expectation in terms of what the performance is against Liverpool. Whether they get anything from it or not remains to be seen. But you would like to think, though, that if they play to the ability that we know that they can play against Liverpool, then they should be fine against West Ham, and they should be fine against Brighton, and they should be fine against Palace. Do you know what I mean? So it's more, I think, looking beyond this Saturday in terms of what this Saturday's performance means for the next month.
I suppose that's where those early fixtures are weird, aren't they? When you get your fixtures and people say, oh, it doesn't really matter, you get to play everyone twice. But there's two ways to look at it, isn't it? You get easier fixtures early on, where you're trying to put your team together, and you might get wins out of it, although you might slip up, and then you look at it and go, well, we've just lost an opportunity to beat these teams that we think were better. Or by the time you get to this stage of the season, where I think this is like, for everyone now, everyone will be thinking, this is the real part where the season really starts now. Everyone's bedded in. Everyone's had those couple of international breaks. We've played 8 games, so everyone should be up to speed, and now we can take on anybody. And it's just for us, we've got harder games coming up, but you think, well, we should be more capable of beating those teams now, or some of those teams, because we are ready to go. But the unfortunate part is, of course, we've lost games against teams that you would think that we should have beaten.
Well, it's about making that up now, isn't it? Yeah. Like Dave just said, if we get a level on Saturday, and regardless of the results can go whatever way. We saw that. We've seen that already this season. You know, Wolves and Fulham have come to Goodison and were turned over in terms of chances and having the ball and all that, and yet both of them went away with a win. So the result can be the result, but we've got to put the performance in. But going to West Ham, we're more than capable of going to West Ham and beating West Ham. Yeah. It's a tough game, don't get me wrong, but if our levels are good, Brighton at home might suit Everton, because, listen, it could go either way. They could beat us 4-1 again. Or, you know, Villa put them to 6 the other week. I'm not saying we're with Villa, but I'm saying you give your chances, Brighton, and if you take them, you can, as we proved at the Amex back in May, you can destroy them. Yeah. So that one is a good opportunity for Everton. And then Palace away, I'm sorry, as I like Hodgson, and I don't mind Palace as a football club. I'm never ever going to be frightened going to Crystal Palace, and I will always expect Everton to go to Crystal Palace and win, always. So that's up. And if Everton put a level of performance like we know they're capable of, then absolutely they can go there and get the win. And if they come out of this block of games with, I think like you've just said, Dave, with a good level of performance, then I think maybe we'll get the rewards. And then you might make up some points where you look and go, you know what, I'd have took a point there if we'd have beat Fulham at home, whatever. And then you end up winning that game at West Ham, saying you go, great win that, and that's almost got us a couple of points back from ones we've thrown away as you go into the next one. But let's just have a good go on Saturday and make sure they know they've been in a game, because that's the biggest. And
they do concede goals, by the way. I think they've conceded in every game they've played. So even though they have still got a good defensive record, but I think they've conceded in every game. So they do concede goals, and obviously conceded two away to Brighton, two away to Tottenham. So.
Well, even thingy, like Lask got 2 against them in Europe, and I know it was a bit of a distance.
Just win the XG.
It's all about.
And the game.
if we get our XG up, then you never know.
I don't know if they could cope.
They can't cope with a big
XG.
The XG.
I'm not sure how they.
I don't think they can handle the XG.
No.
So let's get it up. That's what it all.
And the XG.
And the XG, of course. Yeah.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. Yeah. Let's have a nice segue into France for this one, talking about, you know, well, it felt very hello, that's why we'll go on, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we get it up?
Bienvenue.
Bit of Vicky Michelle bouncing in there in the suzzies. Ped, you've just had a nice trip to Francois. How was it?
I just call it France.
Yeah, well, I think most people do, I'll be honest.
I don't know why you went all...
France.
Trying to big it up, you know. You've been to France.
Yeah.
France.
So, how was it?
It was good. It was very... French, very French,
surprising,
very Parisian.
What was their XG? What was of staying French?
It was quite high, actually.
Was it?
Well, no, you know what? It's lowered. I think it's lowered every time I've gone. You know, there's a lot more English speakers there now. It's a wonderful place. I don't know how anyone could not like it. It's such a nice place. You know, listen, security guards with huge machine guns,
unsettling,
can be slightly nerve-wracking, but they have nice berets though. And that's the trade-off.
Yeah.
That is the trade-off.
Yeah.
They make it work. They've got a little bit of je ne sais quoi. So they make it work. So it's it's a brilliant place to go. I really like it, and obviously going to Disney as well is wonderful. And just, you know, and I'm knackered. I must admit, I walked about 30,000 steps a day.
Which is good.
No messing about, you know. You get nice, lovely weather, t-shirt and shorts every day, which is just nuts for October. And what a wonderful place.
You were running. You went for a run. You were on only and went for a run. I'd like to have gone for
more runs, but because obviously the structure of the day and stuff, it's hard because you know that if you're gonna go for a run, it's gonna be half an hour, and you're gonna have to come back and have a shower and all that kind of malarkey. So it's you know, you're leaving the missus in the hotel room, like, you know, so. You know, you can't do that. So I got a run around Notre Dame, which was nice and pleasant. So, and it's a city where a lot of people do like the runs, and what a lovely place to. I mean, Dave can appreciate this because every time you see him doing fitness, he's in front of a beautiful river or something. But there's something about if you can find somewhere really nice to go and exercise, it doesn't half lift you. It really does lift you. And there was a lot. Obviously, there's a lot going on in the city towards the Olympics next year. So everyone's feeling very Olympic. I got to see the countdown clock for the Olympics as well. That was in front of the Eiffel Tower, telling exactly when the.
Did you not think of like just running with like a torch and just a torch?
Just like a cornetto or something.
Yeah,
you know,
would have been good.
Would have been nice.
Would have been good just to set that Olympic torch, just to say
I feel like I would have looked like the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, with shorter hair.
Shorter hair, and you know, would you have had a sash on? Were you running with a sash?
In this day and age, Dave, you know, that's what the Statue of Liberty might have looked like.
Yeah,
absolutely. You know, we're a broad church, and we've always said that.
So it was good. It was.
I felt like I was there for ages.
You did feel it. Did
it just?
It felt like you've been away for ages. To be honest with you, I mean, you know, I don't want to sound too soppy, but to a certain extent, we kind of missed you.
Well. That's part of the course, isn't it?
It is. You leave it. You've got to go and just leave your audience.
So it was good. They've got to want more.
They've got to want more.
But also, the Rugby World Cup was on as well, so there's lots of Irish
Rugby
and
times.
South Africans and people from New Zealand, Kiwis, I think they're called. So there was a nice melting pot of different people.
A smorgasbord.
Very much so. Very much so.
You went to the Louvre.
I did go to the
Were you
Louvre.
massively impressed with the 6-foot picture of the Mona Lisa?
I've seen the Mona Lisa lots of times, but this time I managed to get right to the front of it and stand it literally in front of it with lots of people behind me who didn't look too happy that I'd managed to blag my way right to the front, in front of the barrier, which was
yeah, I mean that. Yeah,
that annoyed a few people.
Well, I imagine it would.
But it was classic, so I enjoyed it. I enjoyed those people taking pictures on my back. It's beautiful.
It is mad how small it is though when you get up.
And also how rubbish it is. Like, what I mean by that is, you go in the Louvre and there's lots of artwork.
Incredible
and there's
artwork.
Unbelievable, like huge paintings of all kinds of different things that you think that is unbelievable. How did they put that together? And then you get this little picture of this little woman, and you're thinking, why is this so special? Why have people fallen in love with this picture? The enigmatic smile and all that. I'm thinking there's so much better stuff, but it's like anything, I suppose. It's become that. It's become that thing that people just latch onto, and then you want your social media picture, you want your Instagram picture. Which, by the way, is another huge thing which I let you and Ned know about in Paris. Was the amount.
Come on, enlighten us all.
Was the amount of females getting the classic Instagram pictures, getting the pose in front
the ones
of
on your phone
like this.
Well, Dave, just pictures of like girls with
clothes on,
wearing their finest garments.
Oh, okay.
Making it look like they're getting.
But it's all about the face, though, isn't it? It's all about the face, isn't it?
Yeah, making getting the picture that looks like they're getting the picture taken with the phone, but there's a professional team standing with a big massive camera and a big massive lens.
Oh, and it look
and then I went somewhere else where I saw a girl with not much on, getting the same kind of thing, getting the Instagram shot in the Petit Palais, getting that shot. Incredible.
Well, do you know what you can actually do? And I saw this recently, and there was a girl, and she was performing in very much the same way as you described. She had the Instagram face, she had the Instagram outfit, but unfortunately, she obviously wasn't of a level whereby she had the crew with her, the staff to do this. So she had a really elaborate setup, which involved like a tripod that she put her phone onto, and she had this on the other side of a river, and she was kind of stood on this bridge kind of posing. But it was hilarious watching her run back and forth to kind of do different angles and whatnot. I mean, it was like a full-time job for her to get those 4 pictures or whatever she got.
Maybe it is a full-time
You've got to
job.
You've got to give that credit. I saw something like that when we were in London last year. We went to we were walking in St James's Park, not Newcastle's ground, by the Palace, and there was a girl sat on the floor, like an Asian girl, and I was like, what's she doing there? Because I couldn't sit. And then when we got up, they had, the backlights and everything, and there was an air photographer who looked like a mate, was in the bushes. Yeah. And we were just like, what's this?
Yeah.
What kind of shot?
That was the other
I don't know
thing.
whether there was going to be like a bit of a leaf on the picture, and then you'd see her.
Well, he was her very own commissioned bush photographer.
Maybe that's where Andy is.
That's where Bush is.
That's where his name comes from.
Lots of that, like lots of pictures that look like they're organic but massively staged. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's quite a few people with just their friend and the phone trying to do the same thing, but it was like elaborate things, like standing in front of the Eiffel Tower with like balloons. And like or in the chandeliers, being right in the middle of the road and like dodging the traffic just to get that perfect shot. And you're just thinking like,
be careful.
I know there's a world out there where it's like this stuff is, can be hugely, monetary advantages to it. But you're just thinking, could you be asked? But and then, especially the ones in like full rig out, full like.
See, the ones who were in hardly any rig out.
Yeah.
Because they're making the most of their assets, which is fine. What shake what your mama give you, and all that. Fair play to them. It's minimal effort for that. Well, I'd say minimal effort.
Everything's minimal, isn't it?
Exactly, the minimal stuff. The assets generally aren't minimal, but they do that, and they make a living from it, which is good. But you're having to get a full garb on and get yourself into the middle of that traffic doing commando rolls and staying clean before the cars come.
And I saw one girl and she was just like wearing a vest and it was quite warm. But I was thinking, but you look cold.
Okay.
How have you made that? How have you made that? Yeah, I was like, how have you made...
Was there ice cubes on?
I was like, me missus actually said to me, she's like,
It isn't that
It's
cold.
not cold. How has she
Then
made
there
that
must-
happen?
Well, like, she might have just been very excited by what was happening.
The XG of the photograph, maybe. But it was tremendous. So there's a lot of that going on. Because there's a lot of beautiful sights in Paris to be seen. And
did you go to Sacré-Cœur?
Yeah, we went up to Sacré-Cœur. Yeah, went up there.
Montmartre and all that.
There,
Nice.
Went right. Good walk up the hill.
Yeah.
Good walk up the hill there. Get you
heart rate up. Yeah. Certainly does.
So very busy, very popular. People trying to flog your locks.
For the bridges.
For the
Oh, yeah. It's a little, okay. So
Yeah,
you've got people selling padlocks by the bridge so that you can buy it and then make that ultimate statement of undying love.
Yeah, what a load of bollocks. What a load of
bollocks.
There you go. I mean, it fits, doesn't it?
And when we were there in Sacré-Cœur, I had to try and find a set of steps. Yeah, this is I don't know whether people
Are you saying it's a Rocky?
I had to find a set of steps which matched up with a set of steps that Kylie was standing on in a music video once. And so because of all the things in Paris, my missus wanted to find a set of steps where Kylie had been in a video, just so she could get a picture of these sets of steps, just so she could put them on her Kylie group that she's in. So talking about social media...
Is it the one when they're walking down the steps and the fella's walking down the steps and she drops her shopping and then he picks it up and then they go, okay.
So I had to... I've got like my phone in one hand and I'm trying to match it up. Honest to God.
Did you do it?
I done it, of course. I done it. I found it.
So literally...
You've got to keep them happy, haven't you?
You've done what your missus wanted.
You've got to keep them happy. All these different shots in Paris, all these amazing places. And she wanted to find a set of steps where Kylie had dropped a bag of onions and a loaf,
It's because of the brown paper bags. That's what it is. If she had listen, it's about the environment and all that. But when
she had a bag for life, then
bag for life, it wouldn't have dropped.
Well, the other thing about Paris is it's become a very environmental conscious city. So they've cut off a lot of the roads. So you've got that bloody thing, which if anyone's ever been to Amsterdam, the silent killer, which is the bikes.
Oh, the bikes.
The bikes can go round at any speed they want because they now have the roads. And you sometimes, obviously, when you're talking and stuff, you might just be nibbling on a croissant. You suddenly stroll into the bike lane by accident, and all you feel is this gust of wind, and then someone telling you to stick your baguettes where the sun don't shine. And they are the bleeding silent killer. They are. Anyone who's ever been to Amsterdam can appreciate
Is there not a case of the bell ringing? I don't mean Quasimodo. You know what I mean? I don't mean there's one on every corner.
They don't do that. They'd rather go past you and be annoyed rather than pre-warn
you to get out the way.
Again, very, very, very Parisian.
Was there any fish shaking at you?
Any what?
Fish shaking?
Oh,
I thought you said fish.
I thought you said fish.
No, I was thinking, why would you shake a fish at him?
I mean...
especially when you're riding a bike.
I mean, that's mad.
You've got one hand on the fish, you've got one hand on the handlebars, you haven't even got another hand to do the bell.
Could you shake?
Why they don't ring it.
And where'd you stick your baguette in that circumstance?
Absolutely. Well, under your arm, I think is what everybody's thinking, Peter.
Hang on, he wasn't Jesus. We were turning up with bread and fish. I just meant, was there any fist shaking at you?
No. They just like...
Also, I don't like it the way you now say fist with that aggressive T on the end.
I don't know what I just...
I know it's a difficult issue, but it sounds now threatening when you kind of say fist.
Okay.
Fast. Don't like it.
Okay, I'll refrain.
But I also had...
Anyone shake a clenched hand at you?
That
worked better?
No one did.
No, okay.
No one did. But I also had maybe the greatest burger that anyone's ever had.
You did? I mean, that was incredible. I mean, I don't know whether that should be put on here.
No, Ned's going to put it on. Ned's going to put the picture on. Ned put the picture on. There you go.
I wasn't saying that he shouldn't. Here we go.
It is.
It looks very much like... I'll paraphrase. No, I was going to try and...
It's a cock and balls.
Cock and balls.
It's a cock and balls. It's...
Oh, yes. I saw this because you shared this with us the other day. And
I feel like you should have... Sorry, Dave. I feel like you should have turned it the other way, Ned. So it was... Well, exactly. So it's upright. So it's very much like the Instagram model we were talking about. It's a... Can you see it?
So basically, the story on this is we went to a gay burger bar, which I didn't know existed.
Okay.
But a gay burger bar called... I think it was called Mathew Burger. And... not Juan Mata burger, just Mata
I was going to say, yeah.
And obviously we went in and
Spanish,
it was lovely atmosphere, dead nice. Sat us down and give us the menu, and it's at the bottom. It's just like the best burger, and I think it was called something like CBD burger. It wasn't CBD, but it was something like that.
CBD,
burger.
What you were getting that to relax you when you went in? Have some CBD oil on your burger. Other oils
so I ordered it because it just said the double patty. So I'm thinking, well, it's just a burger with obviously 2 burgers on it. It'll be the best one. And that's what turned up, and it essentially, and I had to cut it in half to get it all in my mouth. Not everyone has that luxury, so I had to make sure I had to eat it in 2 servings. So it was real, and it was a really nice burger. And you know what? It wasn't that thing of like no one came over with like fireworks or sparklers or anything. They just brought it over, and no one even flinched. It was just like,
it wasn't your birthday.
No, but it was just like, no, but you might think that.
That's like the like novelty burger or something.
But it wasn't. A lot of people were having them, and it was on a lovely, lovely like crusty French roll as well.
Okay,
beautiful.
I mean, as far as cock and balls shaped burger buns go, it looks sound.
It was beautiful. So I appreciate it.
And you've the CBD oil in it obviously made you relaxed as well. And quite a novel burger.
Yeah, beautiful. Only the French.
Well, only the French.
Maybe other people as well.
Was there an extensive menu, as in like a big choice about what you could have between your buns? Like you could have patties or chicken, or could you choose many different things, but all ultimately with this in the same sort of bun setup?
No. This was all the rest were just normal burgers in with different kinds of things on them. Mine was the only one. That was almost like a novelty. So, and on the thing, there was no indication that what awaited me.
Was repeared. So when you ordered Le Coq and Balls burger, you had no idea it was
that's what it was going to be. Okay. So it came, it came out.
I can bet it did, yeah.
There's no mayonnaise on it, and it was beautiful, and it was a nice meal.
And did you eat all of it?
Ate all of it, of course I did. Service was tremendous.
What would because you showed me the outside, I think, of the restaurant, and it looked very much like the Abercrombie and Fitch of burger joints. It was gentlemen in their trolleys, hot pants, nothing else. So was the waiters dressed like? Was it like
they were the waiters?
Okay, so they were serving you with the knickers on. Okay, so
okay.
That's fine. Yeah. Now we've got to build this whole picture, obviously, for people listening. So it was a very much like a Abercrombie and Fitch vibe about it. You went in and there was
absolutely.
Was the woman who was having an Instagram picture with just a vest on? Would she have been out of place in there?
No, it was mostly gentlemen in there. Okay. Few women sprinkled about.
Was it like a the way Hooters is very much a family restaurant?
Yeah, family restaurant.
But the very much female waitresses or servers or workers.
Hence the name.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So was this like a female-y or like a version of that? Was it just male servers with hot pants on?
I don't. It wasn't a uniform as such. To be honest, I think they were wearing just what they were going to go out in after the place.
Oh, okay.
But it was quite hot. So you can understand in a restaurant environment why they would be wearing vests.
So I guess more conkers than Hooters, really.
Yeah.
Fair play. I mean, it sounds very novel.
I mean, I wouldn't go as far to say as it was a family friendly restaurant.
No, because as far as I'm aware, in Hooters, if you order a burger, it doesn't come out looking like a big pair of breasts, does it? Let's be honest.
Sadly, but
not anymore.
Well, yeah,
not since the incident with Baz in Orlando.
It wouldn't have been. Hang on.
Oh yeah, with Ned, in America.
Ned.
No, but it was a grown-up bit of fun. The burger was fantastic. I'll have to say that was a really nice burger.
Good. I'm glad.
So, and you go in as an adult, you know what you're gonna get, and we got it.
I think it's good that you can enjoy adult fun, when you're away for a weekend.
Exactly.
And I also think it's good that you can describe it when you come back, because we've missed you and we've missed these stories, and it's great. It's great.
I don't feel like I have these kind of stories every week, but
there is always a story though. There is. You do have some strange things hidden away.
After working many years as a taxi driver, I have many stories.
You have.
So that working with the public, but this was me on the other side.
It was. You were the public.
I was the public, and good times
You're
I
like
had.
a civilian in France.
Yeah. The only thing I was slightly disappointed was that I felt like the thing that may have added to it was roller skates. I feel like if the service had had roller skates on, I think that would have made it the full hit. But there you go.
Well, fair enough. I mean, that's something maybe they can aspire to.
Very busy.
Yeah,
so
I mean, you've got to think of traffic.
Wasn't a very big place.
You've got to think of traffic. You've got to think of those lanes where they're trying to spin with the plates. Got a cock in your hand and you're trying to deliver it to a table and there's people in the way. Yeah. It can get very messy. And that's probably being taken into account when they turned up.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Isn't it? So, but novel idea.
The whole thing was a novel idea.
Maybe for a private event, they could don roller skates.
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe.
Less people there.
Yeah.
Dave, I mean, have you ever visited such a establishment?
Sorry.
Okay. I mean, that was a very quick.
Sorry, no. Have I ever visited
like a novel? Like have you ever been to kind of like a restaurant that is like that, and thought this is amazing in one respect, or in all respects?
I can't say that I have, Barry. You know, I can't say that I've been to a specifically themed type of burger establishment. I've been and I've had some nice burgers before, but they haven't had the same kind of, thematic push, as it were, that Ped's place has had. So no, I mean, I'm sorry, but I can't add anything.
No.
The irony is, though, it wasn't themed, though. It was just. It was just.
So
it just was.
It
that.
was right.
So, okay, so let me just ask you this then, before we'll move on from this. But was the cock almost out of place there? Then was it like with regular bit? So I'm just picturing going in with me missus and sitting down, going fancy a burger. All right, there's scantily dressed males everywhere. Brilliant, outstanding. I'll have this burger, please, mate. And they bring out me missus' meal first, and that is, I don't know, whatever she's chosen. And then I get, and I can see other burgers stacked on different plates. Oh, this burger looks great there, look. And the next minute, a cock and balls are on my plate. I'm going to go, all right, who's winding me up a little bit? If it was everything, if some burgers were just balls, fine, and some burgers were just cocks, and there was maybe, I don't know, whatever else. I don't want to say the other thing that might be there, but those, then I would expect it. But if I'm just seeing what I would say is standard burgers, I would be a little bit. Why have I got a cock and balls on me?
I just think that's their signature burger.
Okay,
I think that's all it is. I think people who go there will know,
are aware of it,
and I'm not sure whether it's like supposed to be a tourist trap. The area itself had a lot of gay bars in it. Yeah, and obviously people want something to eat before a night out. And they've gone and they've got the
like practice,
and they've got the fullet. And it wasn't a novelty. It was and it wasn't like a novelty place. It wasn't like screaming at this is a gay bar or a men only bar. I think it was just a nice burger bar, which I'd played like had
a bit of fun, a bit of playfulness.
A lot of like obviously. Anthems getting played as well.
Okay,
so.
Oh right, yeah.
So it was.
So perhaps even back to Kylie Minogue.
Exactly. Well, Kylie was played. Kylie was played.
Doesn't surprise me. No. Doesn't surprise me because she is a great international artist and she would have fitted in well there.
Yes. And the hot pants, of course. Exactly. If the males had them, then I'm spinning around.
Well, that's what gets me on the roller boots.
Well, that's it.
That's where my mind went.
The goal shot.
It was nice.
Brilliant.
Something different.
It felt different. I'll be honest. In our group, when you were saying
it felt different.
It felt different. It hit differently, did it? That burger.
No, it was beautiful. Lovely burger. That's all. The food is beautiful. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say.
Okay, that's absolutely smashing. I've seen a story before, and I have to read it because it just popped up, and it got all kinds of things in my mind going as to why you would do this, but it's a gentleman who got divorced from his wife, and he hired a naked cleaner after he split from his wife, but it backfired terribly. So basically, he's hired a young lady to come and clean his house naked. But he said he then felt uncomfortable watching this naked lady go round and clean his house. So he then started going and sitting in his car when she turned up to clean his house. So I've got a couple of immediate questions for him. I don't know him, so I can't ask him, unfortunately. But one would be, why did you hire the naked? Were you hiring a naked cleaner for a bit of titillation? And if so, why are you going out the house then? And two, if you really do need a cleaner in your house and the naked cleaner makes you uncomfortable, why don't you just hire a cleaner that wears clothes? They were my two overriding questions when I saw the story.
It's hard.
Would you ever hire a naked cleaner?
No, I don't think I would. But I have heard of naked cleaners before. Yeah. I've heard of the practice of naked cleaners before. Nice. It is a service I've seen offered.
Okay.
I mean,
in the townhouse.
It's practical in a way, isn't it?
So you don't.
Do you think why?
Well, you're not bringing any outside contaminants into the house.
Well, yeah, that is true, but also it puts more emphasis, does it not, on their own personal hygiene, perhaps? You know, and you've got to make sure that if you're going to have a naked cleaner, that it's someone who does look after themselves, because you know,
takes us back to bush again, doesn't it?
And stuff.
Yeah, anything, sweat, anything.
So, I don't know why you would do it, other than
and if you do,
massive perv.
If you do, exactly. I mean, if you do it, then and you feel uncomfortable, why don't you just hire one that wears clothes? That is my overriding thing. Dave,
I think
have you ever been asked to be a naked cleaner at any time?
No, never. You know, I mean, you know, I never say never to anything, Barry, no. You know, and I like to think that the door is always open, as it were. But no, I've never been asked thus far. But you know, who knows? I mean, who knows when opportunity might knock?
And that's it, isn't it? You can never ever say no to anything, I don't think.
I just worry where it'd knock.
That again, that would be a worry. Yeah, wouldn't it? That would be a worry.
I think the problem for like that kind of thing in these day and age, though, is, you know, people now have a lot of surveillance equipment, I would say, in their own houses.
Yeah.
You know, I could pick up my phone now and see
the naked cleaner. One
of the rooms in my house I could see. And I just worry, if I was a naked cleaner, would have things not changed? Could anyone just, well, not anyone, but certainly now, if there was a naked cleaner in my house, I could just pick up my phone, pass it to you, and you'd be watching it, you know, doing the dusting, or him, doing the dusting. So on roller skates. So that's added an extra jeopardy. And I used to say that couldn't be recorded and put out there, and suddenly their privacy is being shared all over the internet, and that's not. No one wants that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, that you seem to have just thought very, very deeply into the whole scenario, and I like that, the way you've just, you know, you've just took the situation and you've
nailed it.
Ran with it.
Well, some would say nailed it, but you know, that's they're other people's words, not mine.
I mean, I tend to, you know, in the past when we've discussed the townhouse, because people have put it forward, and we did read the reviews on the place, and it was very clean. Yeah, I just wonder, that was what people were very impressed with, weren't they? How clean
and
it
the
was.
parking.
And the parking. But just going back to
was there ample free parking at the rear?
Ample, possibly, Dave, possibly. But they did talk about the cleanliness. Yeah. Would they have used a naked cleaner, do you think, in that scenario?
It's hard to say, because I don't think it's a place where people actually do go around naked. I think it's more of a place where PVCs are more likely to be used, and rooms, side
clean
rooms, clean side rooms, with again lots of latex bed covers and such forth. So it's hard to say. I've never obviously been to the town.
No. We have to put that out.
I've only seen the reviews online. No,
you have
dropped off.
I was going to say you have technically been within the vicinity of the townhouse. And got energy
felt like
bars.
I was in there within being in the confines of my car. Yeah. The way it played out, ahead of going to getting the energy bars and the Lucasade in preparation for said night.
Fair play,
but which against
other isotonic
goes
drinks are
down
available.
As frankly one of the strangest things I've ever been
part of.
Party to, party to. Understanding why these people had just bought so many energy drinks and energy bars, Googling the place I dropped off on, and then the light bulb going on over my head was like, Yeah, that's a story. That's a story that I will be telling for a very long time.
I do.
And of course, the gentleman had 2 ladies on his arm that night as well.
You would need energy
so that's
bars.
Why you would need the energy bars
to keep everybody
and the clean
happy.
sheets.
And the clean
but
sheets.
He didn't need the free parking.
Just because we're going to finish now, but because we've talked about like the novelty of a naked cleaner. Ned's turned up today just in the studio. He's going to football, so fair enough. Yeah. But do you think there's a world where Ned could say, I don't know how you would describe it, the outfit that he's wearing, to be like a cleaner, but what would you describe? He's got slides on.
Yeah.
He's got, I want to say white.
They're not off-white.
Off-white grip socks, good word. Yeah. He's got short, I can't tell the colour of them shorts. What are they? Grey short. I don't know
whether he started grey.
Well, yeah, and he's got a football shirt on from, who is it, Ned? The Cape Verde national shirt. Yeah. So, sure. I mean, Dave, just from me, without you seeing him, if you were to write a 4-line advert for a cleaner wearing that said outfit, how would you best describe that outfit that's been put together? Because it isn't a football kit. You couldn't pass it off as ready for football with that, because the grey shorts look more like sportswear type shorts. Maybe you could see him sitting on the side of the pool
fishing
leisure wear,
Dave. Yeah. So how do you think you would best describe that, if you could, without seeing it in an advert for someone who's looking for a cleaner?
I think that you'd have to describe Ned as being dressed appropriately for the job in hand.
Okay.
He's somebody who comes up with what I would describe as Nedwardian chic, in terms of the outfit, the leisure wear, the sliders. This is someone who is built for business, and built for action, and ready to go. And that's how I would be describing someone who is clearly, the man for the job.
And he's made up this week, Dave, because he was tattooed live on one of our live shows this week.
Oh, I saw this. Yeah. Oh, talking of which, by the way, so I saw this video the other day.
Yeah.
And I saw you getting tattooed, and I saw, the outline of the crest. But then we never saw the finished article. We just saw all I saw was just the outline, and then suddenly it was like, ta-da, it's all done.
Is this Ned's?
Is it Ned's or Ped's?
No, this was Ned getting done the other day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ned's are there. Yeah,
we will send you an image into our group in a minute, Dave.
Send me a picture, because I felt that in many ways, like much of the audience, we missed out there. And the other thing as well that I just remembered, Barry, is that the last time we spoke, I was tasked with finding out more about the size of seagulls.
You were?
Because we were talking last time, Ped, in your absence, about the fact that I felt that maybe seagulls were getting bigger over the years and even over the decades, because they seem these days to be perhaps bigger than I remember them when I was small. So
Dave, just pause 1 second, Ped, for the eye test, because we talked about XG and XA. The eye test on seagulls. Do you think seagulls are getting bigger just by the eye test of what you remember? I think they are personally, but what's your eye test saying?
I don't know if they are or not, but I imagine they are, because they're getting fed more. They're like the rats, aren't they? The rats are getting huge.
So let's hear that. We'll get the data now from Dave. Over to Dave Vinci with the data.
I looked into this extensively, and I've been on many different forums online, and different chat situations, and looking at the data as well. And it would appear that despite what we all think, there is no evidence really to support the increase in their size.
Is there just more of them?
Maybe there is.
Maybe, and I think maybe they eat more chips these days, which makes them look bigger. There was one train of thought whereby their plumage, as in their feathers, are more fluffy, thus giving them the appearance of being perhaps bigger torso bulkier than they are.
Okay.
But to be honest with you, the general conclusion is that there's no formal evidence to suggest an increase in size of seagulls in the last 5 or even 10 years.
I feel like that's a Harvard study waiting to be done.
Yeah, I think someone needs to go to London now and
more depth
and do that. What would they? They wouldn't be able to compare them to anything. They'd have to do a study now and a study in like 10 years' time. So we'd be waiting a long time. We'd be on Mars before we get that.
What about every 3 years, just to see? You'd know over 3 years. You'd know if there's an incremental increase. Surely.
I don't know.
Okay.
Who's that?
We do it every 4, like the World Cup.
Yeah,
maybe
in the World Cup city. One of the World Cup cities and double it up.
Double it up. Could do. You could do. Yeah. Or the other angle would be to do it every 4 years, but in an odd year, because obviously you've got the Euros, and you've got the World Cup and the evens, and then it would give something to look forward to in the odd years, because otherwise odd years are just a bit,
You'd be building up for the World Cup as well, because you'd be able to put some kind of study out to tell people how to react who are going to that major city.
I'd just have Ned
for the Olympics, maybe.
Ned literally. I mean, Dave, we are going to finish now. I know you're very busy, but someone wanted Ned to get a tattoo of him fighting a seagull, which I thought was a great suggestion. I'm just not sure whether Harry could have free-handed that tattoo of Ned fighting a seagull.
But would you have wanted the seagull to be normal seagull size or man size? No, like when Peter Griffin fights the chicken,
too big, though,
Family Guy.
Yeah.
I'd rather that. I'd rather it was a full-size seagull having a fight with Ned.
He's got an issue with a normal size seagull. He has a full-size seagull.
But I feel like by the time Ned matures, seagulls will probably be man-sized by then.
Possibly.
Maybe.
I love
and that then we'll all be proven right. That's a beautiful thing. Even though at the moment the data doesn't support our theory.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Or hypothesis.
It's the hypothesis.
Then, in time, then we will be proven right. And in conclusion,
I'm still loving Ned's description of Ned Wardian cheek for his outfit. I think that to me that is got to be used moving forward. Right, thank you very much. That is another podcast done. We'll be back next week, obviously, talking about the Merseyside Derby and anything else that takes our fancy on the day. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Make sure you subscribe, give it 5 stars wherever you're listening. Spotify, Apple, all of those good places. Hit the like button, do all of that good stuff. We'll see you later. Bye.